How we doing? Good? It's a pink day? I like it. Backwards hat day? Every day. Shoot.
Josh, Jimmy had a day off yesterday. Is that just kind of the sort of a plan that you guys have in place right now to get him back and all that?
Yeah, just normal protocol. Anytime you're rehabbing or recovering from something, they have kind of like, here's how we're going to do this to reintegrate. Every player that kind of has that situation goes through that. So they're all different based on what body part, what position, is it pads or is it not, all that stuff. So he'll be back out there today.
Coach, is that just listening to the doctors and the training staff and kind of have to go by what
Yep,
they're?
I didn't go to medical school, so whatever they say, that's why they're doctors and trainers, and they don't call plays, and we don't make medical decisions. So they just give us great advice, lay out a great plan for the player, make sure they communicate it well with the player, so the player has a good understanding of what we're trying to accomplish day to day. And there's always work being done. It's just if there's a day that happens to be not on the field, there's other things that are happening. But again, they're in total control of that, so have a lot of confidence in them.
The schedule is planned. Like, how much of the schedule is pre-planned through camp, and how much is just how he feels each day?
You're talking about just Jimmy? Oh, I mean, there's a definite plan of, we know what days we're out there. We know what days, we have minutes restrictions basically by the league. So today's 2 hours, Monday's 105 minutes, et cetera, et cetera. So we kind of know what it is based on the calendar, and so there's going to be, like I said, a number of players are going through the same process. So we just kind of work it as it goes, and again, the player's health and body will tell us if we need to make any adjustments with any of those things.
Josh, last year watching, the guys you brought in as free agents who knew your system were helping guys. But watching this week, you're seeing Colton and Max, guys who were here last year. How much further along does it make you? Because now you've got a bunch of coaches out there helping the new players.
Yeah, I think there's just so much more confidence in knowing their job, knowing what's being asked of them, their side of the ball, their unit. We have great guys. Okay, we have great leadership, great people. They come to work every day with the right mindset, and it's just now the comfort level in the system with the communication, the expectations, what every period in practice actually means. I mean, last year I remember, they'd look at the practice schedule and kind of go like, what is that in period 5? Because it was just new to them. Now they know all the drills. They know all the things we're doing on a daily basis. So, and they're willing to use their voice to help the young guys and or new guys, guys that might not be as comfortable as they are. And that's how teams function. Good teams function like that and bond together and help one another. And I've seen a lot of that so far.
The reality is about half your roster's changed in a league where there's so much turnover now. Do you have to change your verbiage just because free agents go into other teams? Do you have to change on a regular basis, or do you stick with it?
No, I mean, we change something, little things change every year. But I think a lot of times the verbiage we use is really just private to us in terms of, during the game. Most of the time, there's a lot of things going on both sides of the ball. So it's hard to stand there and think you're going to listen to the terms that the other team is using. And I've always kind of felt that gets overblown at some point where, well, they know what that word means. And if they do, then maybe we change one thing here or there. But there's a number of, we call them dummy code words, where they may say, whatever it is, if it's an actor or a movie title or whatever, like, okay, that means one thing, but then there's an actor and a movie title that they use that means something different. You know what I mean? So it's just it's a process that you have to look at each week, depend on who you play, how well they know it, and then hopefully make the right decisions. But we don't try to change too many of those things.
In what ways have you seen Zamir White grow from when he came in a year ago to now?
He's a guy heading into a second camp. I'd say he's more comfortable, more familiar with what we're doing. I think Z's, a really physical guy who's, his strength and some of the things that he's excited to do probably won't take place until we have shoulder pads on and we're able to do some of those types of things. That's what he excelled at in college, and that's what we saw from him last year too. So, he just, like I said, he's a year further ahead. He knows what to expect, understands what's being asked of him now, and now it's excited for him and those other guys that are going to their second year to have an opportunity to go out there and play here in the month of August.
What's the latest with Nate Hawks?
Nate's just one of the few guys that we have that are kind of working through a couple things. Again, I don't think, we have too many guys that the expectation is it's going to drag out too long, but, I think he'll hopefully, if he continues to progress here, we'll see him out there in not too distant future.
Softball games for him.
Yeah. We were talking about needing to show him how to catch those things in an indoor facility at night. We've had a couple jokes about that. But no, he's doing fine.
Josh, you guys retooled your wide receiver room, brought in some different skill sets compared to what you had last year. What was the thought process behind that? In particular, in addition, Trey Tucker, what have you seen so far from your rookie?
Again, the goal at the beginning of the offseason was to try to see if we can improve the competition in every room for the singular purpose of, guys, when they compete and know they're competing for the same opportunities, that's really the best way for them to improve because they don't get comfortable and they're not just satisfied with where they were. And so, we try to do that everywhere we could. Some places are easier to do it than others based on your opportunities. But I think some of the guys we brought in, Phillip was an off-season award winner. Trey's really been a quick study and been eager to learn from, who the guys that are in his room. DeAndre Carter, same thing. I mean, he's done some really good things. Christian Wilkerson. So we have a very competitive room. And I think the older guys have really taken to, trying to help some of the younger guys come along with some specific aspects of receiver play. I think we've increased our team speed, no question. And so, again, there was a lot to sort through, and everybody's kind of working to improve at this point. But I feel like we've added competition and added a couple different skill sets to the group.
Josh, going back to Jimmy, what is the expectation or maybe goal for when you don't have to sort of, account for days off and kind of bring him back, when you can just go?
Meaning, like, when is that?
Yeah, do you have an expectation?
No, I don't. We don't. I think, again, like I said, I think we're just going to follow the plan that they have in place for him. Continue to build chemistry while he's out there, and he's been out there. Like I said, he was out there the first 2 days. Just kind of, like I said, we had a planned day yesterday, but just keep it day to day and continue to progress him back in there, and take the reps that he's taken and try to make the most of those. And eventually that will obviously be the goal, is where there's zero restriction and we're kind of through that phase. But as of right now, that's not there's a preset date where that's going to happen.
It's only been a couple days of practice, but Jacorian Bennett, his speed is as advertised. What have you seen from the young man?
Yeah, he's mature, really a pleasure to work with, takes the game very seriously, intelligent, can learn quick, and then, take it from the meeting room to the field. You've seen him compete on some down the field throws. It's hard to run by the guy, because he runs very well, and, he's trying to get his hands on balls, which we saw that in college as well too. So, just a competitive guy, a good leader, quiet at times when he's really, paying attention, does a really good job of understanding the material, works really hard at it. And again, there's a lot of those guys, I think, in this class that kind of fit the same mold, but JB's done a good job so far.
How has the cornerback room competition really increased with a lot of the new faces?
Say it one more time.
The cornerback room, how much competition is there now that you
Same thing, very similar, maybe a little bit more changeover than the receiver room, but again, I think there's a depth of competition there now, some different faces than there were last year. And again, different levels of that. JB's obviously in his first camp. Marcus Peters has got a lot more experience and wisdom in certain areas, certainly. And then we have a lot of guys in between that. So Face and Duke and David Long and on and on and on. So I just think that there's a lot of guys out there working and competing. Look, we have 11 receivers and 11 corners right now, and they all know that there won't be 11 and 11, eventually. So, they're just everybody's trying to give their best effort, be ready to go every day and compete, and that's what we hope to build at each position on the roster. And you can really see those two groups really stand out.
Today and also throughout the week, you guys are going to have a couple of community groups come in, as well as a few of the high schools that you donated equipment to a couple of months back. How important is it for the community to come out and you pay it forward to them, but also how important is it for you to pay it forward to these high schools that are coming in to watch these practices so they can see what it takes to become a professional athlete?
Yeah, I think really important. It's important to us to do the right thing on the field, but also do the right thing off the field and in the community. This organization has always stood for that, and it's been clear to me since I set foot in this building that that's a priority. And so being able to help those kids in this area, whether it's equipment or an opportunity to witness us try to do our work, I think all the guys that play football know how much of a role model they become to our youth and how important our game is to those kids, and anytime we can give back to them or help them in any way, I mean, that's certainly been a goal. It's been very clear to me since I got here. So I'm excited to see everybody. I know today's kind of a big day in the league also, relative to everybody getting back to camp and having it be a weekend day, so that expect probably our biggest crowd of camp so far.
A few more, Vic, Allen, Case, and Honda.
Devontae mentioned how savvy Jacoby is for a younger player. Something you've always seen with him, or what's been your experience with Jacoby?
Yeah, I mean, I was with him when he was a rookie. It's hard to use that word with a lot of rookies. But he played right away. He played on opening day as a rookie. I remember that. So he's always been a mature guy. He's always been intelligent, and he learned quick. And so, like all young players, you have to kind of go through that process of making a few mistakes and then learning from those. But he very rarely repeats an error, and that's something we preach as much as anything. It's okay to make a mistake. You just can't keep making the same one over and over again, because that usually hurts your opportunities to win. So Jacoby's learned from every player that he's been around. And now he's able to kind of give back to some of the younger guys on our team. But it's really cool to see guys like Devontae and Jacoby, Hunter, Phillip, Keelan, some of the guys that have a little bit more exposure, to playing in the league, be able to have conversations about different techniques, and they're taking ownership of certain things. And it's been really fun to go through the first few days of camp, because we're putting in a few little wrinkles here and there, and they're the ones that are communicating some of those things too. So their ideas are always exciting to hear, and you try to find the right places to do it. But Jacoby certainly fits in with that group.
Any communication with Josh Jacobs?
Nothing to add on the whole situation there.
Let's stick with the order. Allen, Case, and Honda.
Coach, I realize that you didn't come with the franchise when the Raiders moved here to the Las Vegas market. I'm just wondering, after a couple of years, what is your own assessment and observation about the way this franchise has immersed itself to this particular market? You mentioned the fans coming today, for example.
Yeah. I mean, this area to live in has been, exciting for me and my family, and you can just see that this organization's imprint on the community and this area is growing and growing and growing, and that's what we hope it does. And our fan base is worldwide, and you can feel that every game we play, every stadium that we're in. And I think the more we give them something to cheer about, and the more exciting it'll be to come to Allegiant. And it's a great venue. It's an incredible place to be, incredible place to play, and this is obviously one of the top organizations in all sports. So, to be able to do it here in Vegas, it's an exciting time for us. I know this city is, really excited about everything that's going on, and we hope to continue that.
We spoke with Hunter Renfrow yesterday, and he was very open about how he felt like he let the team down last year. He lost the fun for football, and he said he'd met with you and discussed a lot of these things and how he hopes to bounce back this year. What do you tell a guy like that who's, kind of, I guess, fell on hard times mentally, but is a proven player in this league, a veteran? What's your message for that?
Yeah, I think Hunter's got great character, and there's a reason why he's been a really successful player at every level that he's played football. And and a lot of players go through different adversities in their career, injuries, and some have seasons that, aren't necessarily the way they wanted them to turn out for a number of reasons, a number of factors, and some of those you have zero control over because it happens to you in your body. So, Hunter's healthy, ready to roll, and came back this spring, had a great mindset, great attitude, great approach, and it's just been exciting to see him. He's out there, he's doing his thing. He's the same guy, you know what I mean? And he's working to improve himself, helping other guys get better as well. And I said it, a couple of days ago, I'm really excited for Hunter Renfrow this season.
We know what Zamir can do physically running the football, but for him to get more reps and to be able to be on the field, how much does he have to improve in the passing game? Not just catching, but blocking and all of that.
Yeah, I think, any second-year player's got a lot of things that they can get better at. So the timeline on that is really dependent on them, and he's going to get a lot of reps. There's no question about that. He did last year. And so every back, they come from college football to the NFL, and they realize now it's blitz pickup, front identification, route assignments, sometimes coverage reads. There's some different elements here that maybe they didn't have a lot of exposure to before. So it takes time for all of them. They are on, each one of them is a little different, so when it happens, when it doesn't. I've had a lot of backs that, didn't necessarily do much their first year and then really started to establish themselves as they went forward. So, I know that's what Z's focused on, and I'm excited for him to have this second camp to really kind of, settle himself down in terms of thinking on every play and just go out there and play football and do his job and continue to get better. But he works really hard. He'll get a lot of opportunities here, and I know he'll make the most of them.
All right, thank you, Coach. Thanks,
Yep,
everyone.
thank you.
Thanks, Josh.